We are ready to get started. Ring 2 with Class 1 Dorper Rams, 3 entries in that class. Beginning your Class 2 Dorper Rams. To the makeup area, please. 4 entries in Class 2. Class 2 Dorper Rams to the makeup area. Also, Class 3 and 4 Dorper Rams to the makeup area, please.
Three real nice Dorper Rams here to start out our show on this side, and I think a class that lines itself up for me fairly logically. I think the most complete, best balanced ram is here up on top, and a ram I like in motion a great deal. He's flexible off of either end. He's a ram that's really big in terms of his cage. He's big in terms of his forerib, has a lot of shape and thickness and overall balance and correctness. Like I said, I think a very complete one to start with. The ram there in 2, extremely long body kind of sheep. I appreciate that a great deal. A ram that, again, I think has some fluidity in terms of his movement. A ram for me I need to change in terms of his forerib and right behind his shoulder. He gets a little weaker there and a little smaller in pinches there in his forerib. The ram that rounds out the class is unquestionably the heaviest muscled sheep out here, and I think if you just need to add muscle to sheep, he's one you need to take a look at. But like happens with some of those sheep that are just extremely heavy muscled, he gets too restricted in terms of his movement. I think he's too vertical in his shoulder and really gets short strided off of his back legs. But 3 outstanding rams. Congratulations.
We are now ready to show Class 2 Dorper Rams in the show arena. 4 entries. Be keeping those first and second place Dorper Rams from Class 1 in the holding area. After Class 2, we will pick your senior champion Dorper Ram. This is a call for Class 3 and Class 4 Dorper Rams to the makeup area. First call, Class 3 and 4 Dorper Rams to the makeup area, please.
Another really nice set of Dorper Fall Rams here. And again, I think a class that lines itself up pretty logically for me. The ram that wins the class, again, from a balance and design standpoint, he's really smooth made. He's really good in terms of his lines. He gets out and moves well. I think just a lot of quality in that one to start out with. The ram there in two, I think in terms of power, maybe gets out horsed by the other three in the class, but I think he needs to beat the two behind him from a structural integrity standpoint. He gets out and moves well. He's relaxed in his kind. He's smooth in his makeup. I think just a really nice kind of complete sheep there. The ram there in three is a powerhouse, and he's blown apart. He's big topped. He's wide chested. He's big ended. A ram that I actually like how his neck ties in and his how his neck comes out of the top of his shoulder. For me, I get too concerned off of his hind legs. And a ram that gets outside of himself as he gets out and moves, and he really gets out on his hawk, if I can change that, he probably wins the class for me. The ram that rounds out the class, another big, powerful kind of sheep. He's got a lot of performance to him, a lot of thickness and muscle to him. A ram structurally, I think, gets too vertical off of either end, and when we put him in motion, just simply gets too short-strided. Again, four outstanding rams. Congratulations.
We are now ready to show for your senior champion Dorper Ram. So we need those first and second place Rams from Class 1 and Class 2. Beginning those Class 3 and Class 4 Dorper Rams into the holding area, ready to go, please. Thank you.
We've had a relatively small Dorper Ram show to this point, but I think from a senior champion drive, I think there's a tremendous amount of quality out here, and that's always fun to get out and evaluate. There's a ram that I think kind of separates himself in terms of flexibility, a ram that's smooth in terms of his makeup. I think he's the ram that I think has an advantage over the ram that's going to be reserved in terms of how his shoulder angle lays in. That's the yearling ram. He'll be your senior champion. I think in terms of reserve, I kind of study our class winning fallback and our second place yearling ram. And again, I think there's one that's just a little smoother, a little better balanced. That's our fallback right here. He'll be your reserve senior champion. Congratulations.
We are now ready to show Class 3 Dorper Rams, 2 entries into the show ring. Class 3 Dorper Rams into the show ring, 2 entries. Beginning that single entry Class 4 Dorper Ram on deck in the holding pen, please.
Two very nice January buck lambs out here, and again, I think they sort pretty logically for me. The ram that wins the class, obviously, he's not really being a big fan of being out in the show ring today, but a ram I think again is very smooth in terms of his makeup. I like his underlying progression better than the ram right behind him. I think he's a little bigger in terms of his forerib, and that just makes him a better balanced sheep in general. I also think he's I think we get in and truly evaluated. I think his shoulders laid back a skosh more than the ram there in two. Ram in two, really long body kind of sheep. He's got a lot of muscle and thickness and power to him. A lot of high quality things in that ram. But as we get in and study him and compare him to our class winner, he gets bigger and bolder in terms of the point of his shoulder, deeper in his chest floor, and just a touch smaller in terms of his forerib. Two outstanding rams, though. Congratulations.
We are now showing Class 4 Dorper Rams. Also, we are also picking your junior champion Dorper Ram at this time. So we need those champion and reserve champion senior Dorper Rams to the makeup area, please. Ready to go for your champion Dorper Ram drive, please. Also, first call, Class 5 Dorper ewes to the makeup area, please. In ring 2, Class 5 Dorper ewes to the makeup area in ring 2, please. There are 7 entries in that first class.
We've got two things going out on here. First of all, we've got a single entry March buck lamb and one that I think is a great example of a really good high quality March Dorper buck lamb. Really a mature sheep that still you get in and analyze him, and he's extremely wide skeletoned and powerful, has a great deal of muscle shape and thickness to him. I think a really high quality kind of sheep. For me though, I think as we get into our junior champion decision, again, I think there's a ram that separates himself in terms of balance and design. That's our January buck lamb. He'll be your junior champion ram. I think for reserve, it gets closer between the two. I think one is just a little bit better in terms of his progression as we get behind him in terms of meat animal shape. That's our second place January. He'll be your reserve junior champion.
We are now ready to pick your champion Dorper Ram. Beginning those Class 5. This is the second call for Class 5. Dorper ewes to the makeup area, please. Second call, Class 5. Dorper ewes in ring 2 to the makeup area, please. There are 7 entries in this first class.
We again have not had a huge number of Dorper rams out here, but the quality has been extremely high, and it's a lot of fun to sort through sheep that are this good. For champion overall ram, I think it's an easy decision for me. I think there's one that just separates himself in terms of balance. A ram that gets out and moves, has flexibility, and still has a tremendous amount of thickness and body dimension, and he does it in a package that honestly is probably where he needs to be from a fat cover standpoint, which I think can sometimes be a challenge on these sheep. That senior champion yearling ram will be your champion ram overall. For reserve, I kind of go back and forth between our junior champion and our reserve senior. There's one of them I think is just at this stage of the game a skosh better in terms of his underlying quality, and some of that comes with the fact that he's just a little more immature. But that's our junior champion ram, and he'll be your reserve champion ram overall. Congratulations.
Congratulations to our Dorper Ram exhibitors. We are now ready to show Class 5. We're ready to show Class 5 Dorper ewes into the show ring. 7 entries. Beginning those Class 6 Dorper ewes to the makeup area, please. First call, Class 6 Dorper ewes to the makeup area, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, go ahead.
very fun class to sort through. And again, 7 ewes out here, and they're all very, very high quality Dorper ewes. And so don't feel bad if you're down at the end. They're all high quality sheep. You just hit some really good ones today. I kind of had to make some decisions here. My actual decision was 2 and 3. I think the ewe that wins the class, for me, does it fairly handily, especially when we put these sheep in motion. That ewe is laid back in her shoulder. Her neck comes out of the top of her shoulder. She gets out with some reach and flexibility. She's got enough power and dimension and muscle shape for me. I think she balances extremely well, really. One to start with. The ewe there in 2 is extremely dimensional, and she is just totally blown apart. She's big in her forerib, she's big in her top, she's big in her hip. She's got an enormous amount of muscle shape and thickness to her. I think as we analyze her, I think she gets a hair more vertical in terms of her shoulder compared to the ewes on either side of her, and so that's where it gave me some pause. Ewe here in 3, a ewe that is maybe a hair thinner today, and so you kind of have to take some of that into consideration. Again, I think a ewe in motion I like a great deal, and again, her neck's laid back, her neck comes out of the top of the shoulder. At the end of the day, I think as we get in and analyze her, she just came up just a hair short in terms of power, not quite as big in terms of her forerib, not quite as big coming out of her rack and out of her shoulder and into her rack, and not as big into her upper hip and pin set. But again, that's getting really critical of a very high quality sheep. Love that sheep in motion a great deal. The ewe there in 4, one again from a power standpoint, we appreciate a great deal. I think we get in and truly analyze her. She's carrying a bit more condition than the 3 ahead of her, and with that, maybe just lacks the balance of those 3 ewes. The ewe in 5, very similar story. I think she has, again, a great deal of power and dimension. A ewe I want to change in terms of her front third a little bit. Ewe there in 6, probably one of the more compact ewes in the class, and that doesn't really bother me too much. A ewe that I think we get in and truly analyze her, and she actually comes up a bit narrower in terms of her makeup. A ewe that is, I think, fairly easily the heaviest conditioned ewe in the class at the same time, and so that kind of gives me some pause, and that condition just kind of throws off her balance, and she gets more up into her front third. Ewe that rounds out the class is one that is very different than the sheep ahead of her. She's more flexible in terms of her movement. I like that a great deal. At the end of the day, she simply gets outpowered, and she just needs to be blown apart in her kind. But an outstanding set of ewes top to bottom. Congratulations. I'm actually just going to keep them lined up the way they stand, and they brought them into me. I think four very, very good fall ewe lambs here. The ewe that wins the class is quite frankly the different sheep out here, and she maybe has a little different purpose than the other three. I'm not sure about that, but she's won in terms of muscle shape, thickness, touch, and tone that has, I think, an advantage over the other three ewes. And she is big coming out of her rack. She is big into her pin set. And with that, that's a sheep that still gets out and moves and still has flexibility. She still has front to rear balance. I think her underlying progression is really good. I think that is a very, very high quality Dorper female to start with. The ewe there in two, one that is really long bodied. She's longer fronted than the ewe right in front of her. I think she's maybe a hair more laid back in her shoulder as well. But with that, that's a ewe that just I think becomes a little piecier for us. She gets a little bigger into her breastplate. She's a little softer into her top, not as big and square into her pin set as the ewe ahead of her, but again, a very high quality ewe there in two. The ewe in three, a big, powerful kind of sheep, and I appreciate the dimension that she possesses. I think from a balance standpoint, we need to clean up her shoulder, to clean up her breastplate, and kind of just make her hair more immature. The ewe that rounds out the class, again, a tremendous amount of dimension and power and thickness in that sheep. One from a balance standpoint for me, I need to change. Again, she gets bigger and bolder in terms of her shoulder, and at the same time, she gets weaker in terms of her right behind her shoulder and tighter in terms of her forerib. Four outstanding females, though. Congratulations.
That was the conclusion of Class 6. We are now ready to show for your senior champion Dorper ewe. So we need those first and second place Dorper ewes from Class 5 and Class 6. Back into the show ring at this time, please. Beginning Class 7. Class 7 Dorper ewes, 4 entries. On deck in the holding area, please. Also beginning those single entries of Class 8 and Class 9 up to the holding area for here in ring 2, please. Need those single entry Class 8, Class 9 Dorper ewes to the holding area in ring 2, please. This is your senior champion Dorper ewe drive in the ring at this time. For those of you that are ringside, take a quick moment to tell you to make sure and stop into exhibit hall and check out our various vendors and the concession stand. One of our vendors is Durafirm, and Evan Whitty from Durafirm is here with his booth this weekend. He's still doing giveaways on mineral, so don't be afraid to stop by and see him before they leave out of here today. And we appreciate them and all the other vendors being a part of U-Sheep Expo 2025.
We've kind of been rolling through the Dorpers, and now I had to kind of take a little pause and thought. And honestly, there's a ewe out here that is a lot different than anything else we've had come through the ring, and I need to try and decide what I need to do with that sheep. And I think we're starting to see some evolution in terms of different types, in terms of these hair sheep and different destinations. And I mean, we see that in all the other breeds as well. And so we're seeing it here too. I think at the end of the day, I need to kind of satisfy myself and tie into the sheep I think is the best one. I like that fall ewe lamb a whole bunch. She's going to be your senior champion. Come back to the yearling ewe, and I think that is a very, very good yearling ewe as well. Two extremely high quality ones. Congratulations.
Congratulations to our senior Ram champions. We are now ready for Class 7. Class 7 Dorper ewes into the show ring. 4 entries. Begin those Class 8 and Class 9 Dorper ewes to the makeup area here in ring 2, please. Need those Class 8, Class 9 Dorper ewes into the makeup area here in ring 2, please.
A real nice set of January ewe lambs out here, and I think if you're watching one that for me breaks down and sorts really quickly, I really like this ewe up on top, and she's immature in her front third. She's elegant in through her front end, and still has plenty of dimension down her top and into her hip. Extremely smooth made sheep that has the advantage in terms of her underlying progression and chest floor as we compare to the ewe right behind her. The ewe right behind her, really powerful sheep. She's big top, she's big hip, she's very, very muscular. A ewe that, again, for that kind of muscle gets out and moves very well. At this stage of the game, I think she's pushing a little bit more chest floor and maybe just isn't quite as good in terms of her lower silhouette as the ewe that wins the class, but two very, very high quality Dorper females. The ewe there in 3, again, I think a very high quality sheep. I like her length of body. I think a ewe that's very smooth in terms of her makeup. I think as we get in and analyze her, she's not as big in terms of as we get into her rear third, into her hip and into her pin set and into her base as the two ewes ahead of her, but a really nice ewe there in 3. The ewe that rounds out the class, very dimensional kind of sheep. She's got a great deal of thickness and muscle to her. One, again, from a balance standpoint, I need to change a little bit. She gets a little bigger and bolder in terms of her shoulder and consequently gets a little smaller in terms of her forerib. If I can change her balance, she can come up the line. Again, 4 outstanding ewes. Congratulations.
That concludes Class 7 of the Dorper ewes. We are now ready to show Class 8 Dorper ewes, single entry Dorper ewe. Those Class 9. That Class 9 single entry Dorper ewe into the holding area, please.
Just a single entry February ewe lamb, and a very high quality one at that, and one that gets out and moves very well. She's good in terms of her proportions. A ewe that again I think has a great deal of thickness and power to her at the same time. If we want to get nitpicky on her, I think she's maybe starting to get a little bit more breastplate than is ideal at this stage of the game, but a very, very high quality one. Congratulations.
We are now ready to show Class 9. Class 9 Dorper ewe into the show ring, single entry. Need those first place Dorper ewes from Class 7 and 8 in the holding area, please. Also need the second place Dorper ewe from Class 7 in the holding area for the selection of your junior champion that will be after the conclusion of Class 9. Also, need those champion and reserve champion senior Dorper ewes ready to go in the holding area for your champion Dorper ewe drive. Have those ready to go at this time also, please.
Single entry again here, late ewe lamb class, and one that you really appreciate in terms of her size and growth and performance. She's a big, high growth sheep that's got a great deal of muscle and power and thickness to her. At the same time, that's a ewe that maintains her balance, I think, very well. She's smooth in terms of her makeup and maintains some underlying quality. I think a really high quality late ewe lamb. Congratulations. again, not a huge number of junior ewe lambs out here to sort through in our three classes, but the quality has been extremely high. There's a ewe that hit me in class extremely hard, and it was tough to get around in class and tough to get around in this drive as well, and that's that January ewe lamb. She'll be your junior champion. I think we get in and analyze the other three. I think as we analyze them and study them in terms of balance, in terms of underlying quality, and honestly being in the right condition as well, I'm going to land on the February ewe lamb for your reserve junior champion. Congratulations.
Congratulations to our junior Dorper ewe exhibitors. At this time, we are now ready for the selection of your champion overall Dorper ewe. That champion and reserve champion. Oh, ready for that champion and reserve champion senior Dorper ewe. And your champion and your reserve champion junior Dorper ewe in the makeup area. We are now selecting your champion Dorper ewe. This is the first call for Class 10. Class 10, pull Dorset fitted rams to the makeup area, please. Single entry. Need that Class 10 single entry pull Dorset ram to the makeup area, please.
As we wind out our Dorper show here, again, the numbers have not been huge. The quality has, and I think there's four extraordinarily good Dorper females out here to sort through. I think there's a pair of them that for me just separate. I think one of them is just kind of a beast in terms of her cage, how round ribbed she is, how good handling she is. That senior champion ewe, fall ewe lamb, is going to be your champion ewe. I think for reserve, I get in and honestly, I think one of them is just a hair better balanced, and even at this stage of the game, and has more maturity with it. The reserve senior champion yearling ewe will be your reserve ewe overall. Congratulations.
Congratulations to all of our Dorper exhibitors. We are now ready to start the pull Dorset fitted show. We need that Class 10 single entry pull Dorset fitted ram into the show ring, please. Single entry. Also, at this time, we need classes 11 and 12 pull Dorset fitted ewes to the makeup area, please. Need classes 11 and 12 pull Dorset fitted ewes to the makeup area, please, at this time. Thank you.
We roll into our Dorset show, and just a single entry ram, and he's the only ram in the show as well. So not only is he a class winner, but he's champion ram. A ram that's smooth in terms of his makeup, a ram that gets out and moves and has some mobility and flexibility off of either end. Stylish, eye-appealing kind of sheep. A really nice single entry. Congratulations.
We are now ready to show Class 11 pole Dorset fitted ewes into the show ring. At this time, Class 11 pole fitted ewes into the show ring at this time. Thank you. Beginning those Class 12 pole Dorset fitted ewes into the holding area, please. For the Dorset exhibitors here ringside, we will show for your senior champion ewe. We will show your senior champion Dorset ewe after conclusion of Class 13. Senior champion Dorper ewe will be selected after Class 13. Last call, Class 12. Pull Dorset fitted ewes to the makeup area, please. Last call, Class 12. Pull Dorset fitted ewes to the makeup area, please.
Three very high quality Dorset fall yearling ewes out here, and I think maybe a little emphasis on the fall side of things that comes into my mind a little bit in terms of where they're at in terms of their stage of progression and that sort of thing. The ewe that wins the class is a sheep that hits me really hard. She's kind of my kind of sheep in terms of her ruggedness, her bone work, the amount of natural thickness and power that she possesses. I think she's got that advantage over the ewe there in two. I think she's a pretty correct attractive, well-balanced kind of sheep as well. I think she's a hair shorter muzzled than the UN2 as well. UN2 is a big problem sheep for me, and obviously she's big outlined and she's long-bodied, and honestly for a sheep that is that big and extended, she gets out and moves extremely well, and I appreciate that aspect of her. At this, I guess for this judge, I needed to decide if she had enough just total body mass, and I guess obviously I don't think she does, and I just like to blow her apart in her kind, make her bigger coming out of her shoulder, bigger into her hip, and just stouten her up in terms of her bone work. But that's a ewe that's going to hit some judges extremely hard, because she's so pretty, she's so smooth and attractive, and just right in terms of her maturity. The ewe there in 3 is one that just kind of ran into a little bit of a buzz saw today. That's a quality sheep, and she's got correctness, she's got balance. A ewe that maybe gets a little shorter bodied in terms of her makeup. She's maybe a skosh plainer in through her shoulder, and as her neck ties into her shoulder than the 2 ewes ahead of her. But 3 outstanding ewes. Congratulations.
That concludes Class 11. We are now ready to show Class 12. Class 12, Poll Dorset fitted ewes. 2 entries in that class. We need those Class 13. Class 13, Poll Dorset fitted ewes to the makeup area, please. Should only be 2 entries. Should only be 2 entries. Sorry. You're fine. You're fine. You're good. You're good. Beginning those Class 13 Dorset fitted ewes to the makeup area, please. First call, Class 13, Poll Dorset ewes to the makeup area. 3 entries in that class, please.
uh, 2 very high quality spring yearling ewes here in the Dorset ring, and I think they sort for me fairly quickly. The ewe that wins the class is a big footed, rugged made kind of sheep that gets out and motors and moves extremely well. I think she's very good from a balance and look and style standpoint. I think a very high quality single entry, or ewe to win the class, excuse me. The ewe there in 2, again, that's a high quality sheep, and she's extended and she's smooth and she's stylish and she's eye appealing. A ewe for me that I need to change her front end structure a little bit. She gets a little more vertical in terms of her shoulder, and at the same time drops her breastplate a little bit, and her underlying quality just comes into question a little bit as she gets higher into her flank. But 2 very high quality Dorset females. Congratulations.
That concludes Class 12. We are now ready for Class 13. Poll Dorset fitted ewes in the show ring. Class 13, Poll Dorset fitted ewes into the show ring, please. 3 entries. Be getting those first and second place ewes from classes 11 and 12 in the holding area, please, for your senior champion drive at the conclusion of class 13, please.
Three very, very nice Dorset early fall ewe lambs here, and honestly, a class for me that sorts fairly quickly. The ewe that wins the class is a great big-footed, rugged-made kind of sheep. She's got the advantage in terms of top and hip dimension compared to the two ewes ahead of her. She's also a very stylish, eye-appealing ewe that honestly I think has an advantage in terms of underlying quality as we compare to the ewe there in two. The ewe in two, again, a ewe that's going to hit some judges very hard. That sheep is going to be big, big a year from now, and she is tall and she is long and she is extremely extended and tremendously late maturing. Again, for this judge, I need to stouten her up. I need to stouten her up in terms of her bone work. I want to make her more powerful on her top. But again, one that has some huge, far-reaching pieces that we need to recognize today. The ewe there in three, I think just ran into a bit of a buzzsaw today. Very complete kind of sheep. She's got a lot of center body and functionality to her. I think she's a little plainer in terms of her kind. Again, I want to change her shoulder design just a hair. But three outstanding early fall ewe lambs. Congratulations.
Hang on. Okay, go ahead. We are now ready to show for your senior champion Pole Dorset fitted ewe. We need those first and second place ewes from classes 11, 12, and 13 back into the show ring at this time, please. Begin those class 14 Pole Dorset fitted ewes to the makeup area, please. Actually make that classes 14, 15, and 16 Pole Dorset ewes to the makeup area at this time, please. Thank you. Also, a reminder for backdrop photos at the conclusion of each breed. We need you to please come to the backdrop here behind ring 2 to get your photograph if you were a champion winning division and or overall champion breed winner. If you're wanting individual pictures, please wait till after the conclusion of today's overall Conclusion of today's show, please. Thank you.
I think an outstanding set of senior ewes out here, and again, not huge on numbers, but tremendous amount of quality out here. There's one ewe that I think separates herself in terms of being a sheep that is right in terms of her design, in terms of her shoulder angle, in terms of how her neck ties into her shoulder. She's extended, she's smooth, and I think she's a really high quality one. That spring yearling ewe is going to be your senior champion. For reserve, I think it gets a little bit closer between our other two class winners. I think the ewe that just has a little more balance is the early fall ewe lamb. She'll be your reserve senior champion. Congratulations.
We're now ready to show Class 14 pulled Dorset fitted ewes into the show ring, please, at this time. Beginning those Class 15 and 16 pulled Dorset ewes to the makeup area, please.
I think three really high quality late fall ewe lambs here to sort through. And again, I thought they brought them in order, and I think they need to stay that way. The ewe that wins the class, I think, does it fairly logically for me. Again, she is huge in terms of her feature and foot size. She's a ewe that is powerful, yet very smooth and very pretty. She's not really wanting to be a show sheep today and has a little more spirit to her, but I think a really, really high quality one to start with. The ewe there in two has a little more length of body, and I appreciate that about her. A ewe that has some rib and dimension. She's not quite as big in terms of her bone work. She's not quite as smooth in terms of her makeup, just off in terms of her balance, just a skosh as we compare her to our class winner, but really like the length of body and extension in that sheep. The ewe that rounds out the class, again, that's a very high quality Dorset female. She runs into two really good ones today, and a ewe that has some functionality. She's good enough in terms of her structure. She's got some rib dimension to her. She's just a little more common in her kind. Needs to be changed in terms of her front third a little bit and given more style and eye appeal. But three outstanding ewes. Congratulations.
That's that concludes Class 14 pulled Dorset fitted ewes. We are now ready for Class 15 pulled Dorset fitted ewes, single entry. Also, we need to that Class 16 pulled Dorset fitted ewe to the makeup area, please. Single entry.
Again, we get into an intermediate Dorset U class and just a single entry, but a very, very high quality one. And a ewe that gets out and moves well for me. She maintains balance. She's stylish. She's eye appealing. Has enough mass and footwork for me. I think an outstanding single entry. Congratulations. Another single entry fall inter, sorry another single entry late spring ewe lamb here, and one that you really like from a maturity standpoint. She's where she should be in terms of that game. She's extended up front, a good moving kind of sheep that has some ruggedness to her and some foot size at the same time. Again, a very nice high quality single entry. Congratulations.
We need those champion and reserve champion senior division ewes to make up area, please. Also, at the conclusion of the ewes, we will be picking your champion fitted pair of ewes here in ring 2 for the Polled Dorsets. At the conclusion of the ewes, we'll be picking your champion pair for the Polled Dorsets here in the fitted ewes.
Once again, we get into our junior champion ewes in the Polled Dorset ring, and I think 4 outstanding ewes out here, and we've had a whale of quality come through the ring today. I think as we get in and analyze these ewes, there's one I think separates herself just in terms of how she's put together, how she's constructed, and I think her underlying quality is the best in the lineup. I think she's rugged in her kind at the same time, very smooth and stylish and eye-appealing ewe. If she ever decides to be a show sheep, I think she'll be really, really eye appealing. Our late October or our late fall ewe lamb right here will be your junior champion. I think for a reserve, we come back and we analyze those other 3 ewes. And again, like I said, I think they're all very high quality sheep. Again, I think there's one that's just a bit smoother in terms of her kind, a bit better balance. That's our intermediate ewe lamb. She'll be your reserve junior champion. Congratulations.
Congratulations to our junior ewe exhibitors. We are now ready to pick your champion overall Polled Dorset ewe. We need the champion and reserve champion fitted ewes from the senior division at this time in the show ring, please. If you are showing for champion fitted pair ewes, please be getting them to the holding area at this time, please. If you're showing for champion fitted pair ewes, please bring them to the holding area at this time, please.
Again, we're rolling through these. I think at a good pace, but a lot of really high quality sheep out here to sort through. And I think the kids have brought a great set. They're doing a great job of getting them shown as well. I think it comes down to the two ewes closest for me for champion and reserve. I can go back and forth a little bit. At the end of the day, I just like the smoothness, the design and pattern and style of that yearling ewe. She'll be your champion ewe overall. Fall back to the junior champion ewe, the late fall ewe for reserve. Congratulations.
Congratulations to our fitted Dorset ewe exhibitors. We are now ready to show for your champion pair of Dorset ewes. Need those into the show ring, please. Champion pair of Dorset fitted ewes. We are ready for you in the show ring, please. Suffolk exhibitors, there is no rams. Beginning those Class 18 fitted Suffolk ewes to the makeup area, please. First call, Class 18 fitted Suffolk ewes to the makeup area, please. 2 entries.
We've got a small Suffolk show today. Just two ewes out here. We've got a yearling ewe and a January ewe lamb. Two very high quality sheep again, and ewes. I think both of them are extremely thick and muscular, and I think they've got some performance and some. I think from a terminal sire aspect, I think they do what Suffolk sheep are supposed to do, and I appreciate that about them. I think we get in and analyze them and break them apart. I think one of them's just a skosh better in terms of as at the ground, and especially off of her rear pasterns and motion. That's going to be our January ewe lamb. She'll be champion ewe, tie into a very high quality yearling ewe for reserve. Congratulations. just a single Texel ram today, and a ram that does what you expect Texel sheep to do. Tremendous amount of natural thickness and muscularity. A sheep that's got a lot of power, and yet I think we get him pulled together there, and one that's still good in terms of his lines. He maintains some balance and smoothness to him. I think a really nice Texel ram. He'll be champion, of course. Congratulations.
Congratulations to our Texel Ram exhibitors. We're now class 22 Texel ewes into the show ring as a single entry. This is first call for the White Dorpers exhibitors. First call, class 23 White Dorper Rams to the makeup area. First call, class 23 White Dorper Rams to the makeup area. Also beginning class 24 and class 25 White Dorper Rams to the makeup area also at this time too, please. 23, 24, 25 White Dorper Rams to the makeup area and ring 2, please.
Once again, just a single Texel ewe today as well, and a ewe. I think I can probably almost sound like a broken record on the ram. I think she's very similar to that sheep. Again, tremendous amount of thickness and muscularity as you would expect. But again, from a Texel sheep perspective, she's still good in terms of her line. She gets out and moves with enough flexibility. I think she's smooth in terms of her makeup and still at the right condition level, again, which you get into those more mature, smaller frame sheep, and that can become an issue at times. She's really good in that regard. Congratulations.
We are now starting your White Dorper show, starting with Class 23 White Dorper Rams, 3 entries in this class. Please be getting those Class 24 and 25 White Dorper Rams to the makeup area, please. Need classes 24 and 25 White Dorper Rams to the makeup area, please. Thank you.
We start out our White Dorper show here, and two very high quality rams that are very, very different in terms of their type and kind. And the ram that wins the class, I think, has a decided advantage in terms of structural correctness and flexibility. I think he gets out and moves better than the ram behind him. I think he's laid back a little more on his shoulder and is just better in terms of his forerib as well, and right behind his shoulder. The ram there in two is a brute, and he is a powerful sheep, and he is big topped, and he is big ended. At this stage of the game on this guy, I think it's maybe too much, and I think he gets a little more restricted in terms of his movement. I think he struggles a hair on the move, and so that's why he's in two. But I think two very, very good, useful, high quality Dorper White Dorper rams. Congratulations.
We are now ready to show Class 24 White Dorper Rams in the show ring. 3 entries. That class beginning those Class 25 White Dorper Rams makeup area. Class 20 White Dorper Rams to the makeup area, please. 3 entries in that class. Thank you.
three nice White Dorper fall rams here, and a class. I think again, I think all three are very high quality. I think we got one up on top that finds his way there for me fairly quickly. I think he's easily the best ram in motion. A ram that's more laid back in his shoulder. His neck ties higher into the top of his shoulder. With that, he's a very smooth made sheep that's extremely well balanced. Has a great deal of thickness and power to him. The ram there in two and three is where my decision came into play. The ram in two is a younger buck, and I obviously, and I think with that comes a little bit more immature than the rams on either side of him. A ram that I think has great deal length of body. And again, I think as we compare him to the ram right ahead of him, maybe a skosh deeper in terms of his breastplate, a bit more upright in terms of his shoulder. But as we compare him to the ram right behind him, I think he's bigger out of his rack, smoother down his top line, and that's where his advantage is over the ram in three. The ram in three is a big-footed, heavy-bone kind of sheep. I appreciate that about him. A ram that gets just a little PC on us today, wants to drop his breastplate and chest floor, wants to get a little easy and out of his top and out of his shoulder. But three outstanding rams. Congratulations.
At this time, we are now ready to pick your senior division White Dorper Ram. Beginning those Class 25 White Dorper Rams in the holding area, ready to go. This will also be the selection of your junior champion Dorper, White Dorper Ram, also in Class 25. First call, Class 26, White Dorper ewes to the makeup area. First call, Class 26, White Dorper ewes to the makeup area, please.
Again, a smaller White Dorper ram show, but very, very high in terms of quality. And I think there's four outstanding rams out here to sort through. I think there's one that's just a bit more correct and a bit more flexible off of either end. I think his neck attachment's a little bit better and his shoulder angle's better. That's our fall buck lamb. He'll be your senior champion. I think for reserve, I come back into my second my second fall in my class-winning yearling and kind of go back and forth. I think the class-winning yearling here, I just like his maturity. I like his power and dimension and thickness. Really a big-footed kind of sheep as well. He'll be your reserve senior champion. Congratulations.
As a reminder, we need that champion senior and reserve champion senior White Dorper Ram hold here in the makeup area, two for the selection of your champion overall White Dorper Ram. Thanks.
three very high quality White Dorper ram lambs out here, and there's some age differences to take into consideration as well. But I think as I get in and study the top two rams is where my decision came into play. The ram wins the class. Very smooth made kind of sheep. A ram that, again, very dimensional in terms of his kind. I think as we get in and analyze him in comparison to the ram right behind him, he's a notch smoother right at the point of his shoulder, a notch cleaner in through his breastplate, and I think that just allows him to be a hair better balanced from the side. The ram there in two is one I like in motion a whole bunch, and he kind of walks out with some attitude and cockiness to him. I like that aspect about him. His neck ties into the top of his shoulder, and he's got a great deal of thickness. I think for his age at this stage of the game, again, he's maybe getting just a little bit more shoulder there and lower shoulder blade and breastplate as we compare to our class winner, but a very, very high quality one. The ram that rounds out the class, a big, high performing, long up body kind of sheep. I appreciate that about him. A ram, again, from a balance standpoint, kind of falls off. He gets tighter in his forerib, again, breaks a little more behind his shoulder, but three outstanding rams. Congratulations.
In the show ring here in ring 2 at this time, we are showing for your champion White Dorper ram. He knows class 26. Class 26, White Dorper ewes to the makeup area at this time, please. Thank you. Class 26, White Dorper ewes to the makeup area at this time, please. Thank you.
Again, a little smaller in terms of numbers, but tremendous quality in our White Dorper Ram show. And as you can tell, our senior and junior champion rams are the two that I kind of land on in terms of the two that kind of separate themselves in terms of structural correctness and balance, smoothness, and that sort of thing. I think one of them is just a notch square as we get behind him in terms of how he handles his hock, maybe stays within himself. I would say probably the biggest thing in terms of how he handles his hock. That's that senior champion. He'll be your grand champion ram overall. Fall back to the junior champion ram for reserve. Congratulations.
Congratulations to our White Dorper Ram exhibitors for a good show. We are now ready to start your White Dorper Ewes show. Class 26 is coming into the ring with 3 entries. Those class 27, 28, 29 White Dorper ewes to the makeup area, please. Need classes 27, 28, 29 White Dorper ewes to the makeup area, please. Thank you.
Once again, 3 very, very high quality White Dorper yearling ewes here in a class that for me sorts, I think, relatively quickly. The ewe that wins the class, I like In Motion a great deal. She is the more up-headed ewe. Her neckties higher into the top of her shoulder. Appreciate that. At the same time, I think she's got more underlying quality as we study her underlying progression and how much cleaner she is into her breastplate. But at the same time, you get behind that ewe, and that is one big-ended, heavy-muscled, muscular, a tremendous amount of shape and volume in her as well. Really neat kind of White Dorper female to start the class with. The ewe there in 2, extremely long-bodied, high-performing kind of sheep. I appreciate that about her. I think as we get in and study her, she's not put together quite as well and as well balanced as the ewe ahead of her, but I think she is smoother in terms of her makeup and kind than the ewe there in 3. The ewe there in 3 is just totally blown apart in her kind. She's extremely wide skeleton, big-middled, big-ended kind of sheep. I appreciate those things about her. At this stage of the game, for me, she's carrying a little more shoulder and kind of throws off her balance, but 3 outstanding ewes. Congratulations.
We are now ready to show class 27 White Dorper ewes in the ring, please. 3 entries. Those first and second White Dorper ewes from class 26, keep them ready to go in the holding pen. After class 27, we will be making the selection of your senior champion White Dorper ewe. Beginning class 28 and 29 White Dorper ewes to the makeup area, please. Classes 28 and 29 White Dorper ewes to the makeup area, please.
Three really nice ewes here, and the ewe up front, obviously, we're trying to get that ewe shown the best we can, but I think she's a really good sheep, and I think she gets out and moves well enough for me. I think that is a sheep that's smooth in terms of her makeup. I think she is extremely dimensional in terms of her kind. She's really opened up. She's big top. She's big ended. She's square into her end, and at the same time, you get in and analyze her lower third and underlying progression, and I think she's the best ewe in the class in that regard. Really nice one to start with. The ewe there in two, if you want to tell me she's maybe just a little bit square from behind and doesn't get as outside of herself as the ewe ahead of her, I'd agree with you. She's long-bodied and she's smooth-made. Is she as dimensional as the ewe ahead of her? No. Is she as clean in through her breastplate? No. And that's why she's in second. Those are two very high-quality White Dorper females. Ewe that rounds out the class, another very high-quality one as well. Love the foot size and bone on that sheep, and that just kind of fits that sheep in general. She's big top, she's big ended, but with that, she gives us a little bit more shoulder, doesn't want to balance quite as well in terms of her makeup. Three outstanding White Dorper females. Congratulations.
We are now ready to show for your champion senior White Dorper ewe. We need the first and second place ewes from class 26 and 27 into the ring, please, at this time. Beginning those class 28 and 29 White Dorper ewes into the holding area, please. Last call, classes 28, 29 White Dorper ewes into the holding area, please. Thank you.
we get into our senior champion drive here, and one that makes me think a little bit and have to dig in and identify these ewes. I think, again, four very high quality ones. Obviously, if you're watching me, I'm deciding between our two class winners. I think they're elite kind of females. There's a ewe for me that I think is just a little bit more dimensional in terms of her kind. I think she's bigger in terms of her forerib. I think she's bigger coming directly outside of her rack, and she maintains power all the way through. That's the fall ewe lamb. She'll be your senior champion. The yearling ewe, not taking anything away from that sheep. She is extremely heavy muscled, very dimensional, good moving kind of sheep. Just wants to pinch a hair in terms of her forerib, but an outstanding set of ewes. Congratulations.
We are now ready to show for Class 28 White Dorper ewes. 2 entries in that class. Class 28 White Dorper ewes. 2 entries in that class. Beginning Class 29 White Dorper ewes ready to go in the holding area. Thank you.
Two very nice January White Dorper females, and I think they sort for me fairly easily. The ewe that wins the class is extremely dimensional. One that is big and massive right behind her shoulder. She's really round in terms of her cage, and I just love how opened up and powerful she is. Yet at the same time, she maintains balance. She maintains look, is clean in her breastplate, and just smooth in terms of her kind. Really nice one to start with. The ewe therein too, a good moving, correct kind of made sheep that's got some length of body, maybe a skosh leaner than the ewe ahead of her as well, and I appreciate that about her. She just simply gets overpowered. She doesn't have the foot size, she doesn't have the dimension in any realm, but I think a very high quality one is at the same time. Two very good ewes. Congratulations.
We are now ready to show Class 29 White Dorper ewes, the last class of the day. 3 entries. This is Class 29 coming in the ring. White Dorper ewes, last class of the day.
We finished my last class of the day. We got a couple more division and overall champion ewes coming up, but I think we finish out with with three real young ewe lambs here. And again, I think they sort pretty quickly for me. The ewe that wins the class, again, very powerful kind of sheep. She's big in terms of her top. She's big in terms of her cage. She maintains that as you go back. And again, at the same time, maintains very good balance, very good smoothness. She gets out in motors the way you need to. I think a very high quality one to start with. The ewe there in two, very long body kind of sheep, and I appreciate that about her. Maybe not quite as opened up as the ewes on either side of her, but I think she's got some design advantages over the ewe there in three. The ewe there in three, like I said, really powerful, big-footed, rugged made kind of sheep. I appreciate her thickness and muscularity. A ewe that I think, again, from a balance standpoint, gets a little more open at the point of her shoulder, wants to pinch just a bit in terms of her forerib, but three outstanding
We are now ready to show for your champion junior White Dorper ewe. Need those champion and reserve champion senior White Dorper ewes in the holding area for your overall ewe drive. Beginning those champion and reserve champion senior White Dorper ewes to the holding area for your champion overall ewe drive, please. Thank you.
again, we get in our junior champion, and I'm probably starting to sound like a broken record. Very low, very very high on quality, a little low on numbers. Very very good ewes on this side of me that I'm deciding between. Obviously, again, there's a fair bit of age difference between those two ewes, and with that, you get the expected maturity differences. And so I'm trying to keep that into consideration. I think there's one that's a little bit more comfortable off of her rear legs. That's our young ewe lamb. She'll be your junior champion. Come back to the January ewe lamb for reserve. Congratulations.
Congratulations to our junior Dorper ewe lamb exhibitors. At this time, we are now ready for the selection of your overall champion White Dorper ewe. We need the champion and reserve champion senior White Dorper ewes into the show ring at this time, please.
very, very good set of White Dorper females out here to sort through. And I guess the more I study them, there's one that separates herself. And I like her in motion a great deal. I think she is extremely powerful and yet smooth and attractive at the same time. The fall ewe that's senior champion will be your champion ewe overall. I think reserve is where my decision actually comes into play, and that's where I spent most of my time out here trying to decide. Again, I can go back and forth. I think one is a little bit smoother in terms of her makeup. I think she's a little bit better right behind her shoulder and into her rack. I think the other one is just an absolute beast in terms of her pin set and muscle shape and thickness. At the same time, we're kind of seeing some differences. I kind of go back and forth. I'm going to stay with the yearling ewe. The reserve senior champion will be reserve overall. Congratulations.
Well, for those of you ringside, this will conclude day 2 of Ring 2 here, 2025 Youth Sheep Expo. We appreciate everybody coming out. As your grand drives for the Rams and the Ewes will be over in Ring 1 in the main show arena, approximately 30 minutes at the conclusion of their show. We appreciate everybody coming. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you next year. Thank you.